So hi everyone, welcome back to the channel. I hope you all are doing well. So this is the great time to start the video. So we would be covering top 100 Java interview question and answers. So stay tuned till the end of the video. We would be covering and discussing each question with the proper answer and the detail of each question with the answers. These are the top 100 Java interview question and answers that are repeated in all the years. And if you are preparing for any Java interview role or a developer role, so this will definitely act you as a source of great revision. So watch this video and go for the interview for your better selection probability. So make sure you watch this video till the end to get all the details and the concept clear. These are the clear question with the proper answer and explanation I would be giving you right now. So we would be covering in total 100 Java interview questions with answers. So stay tuned till the end and all the best for your next interview. Let's start with the very first question, that is what is classes in Java. So what do you think, what is class in Java? So what is class in Java? Java encapsulates the code in various classes which defines new data types. These new data types are used to create objects. So basically we have to define, or we have to create a class in each Java program. We have a rule that we should create a class for better and proper execution of the program. So basically Java encapsulates the code in various classes. This is the important thing line which defines new data types. These new data types are used to create objects. So moving on to the second question, what is JVM? JVM stands for Java Virtual Machine, which is a runtime environment for compiled Java class files. So basically JVM, you should understand, if you have the knowledge related to Java, then you have learned JVM, JDK and JRE. You should know JVM, then JRE and JDK. So JVM is a Java virtual machine which is a runtime environment for compiled Java class files. Then what is the right data type to represent a price in Java? So this is the third question. So big decimal if memory is not a concern and performance is not critical, otherwise double with predefined precision. So this is the answer for the particular question. Moving on to the fourth one, does Java support multiple inheritance? What do you think? The answer is no. Java doesn't support multiple inheritance. So what are the supported platforms by Java programming languages? So the first one and the given examples over here are, so basically what are the supported platforms by Java programming languages? So Java basically runs on variety of platforms such as Windows, Mac and Unix versions, so like HP, Unix, Sun Solaris, Red Hat, Linux, Ubuntu and etc. So list any 5 feature of Java. This is the sixth one. So some features include object-oriented, platform independent, robust and interpreted and multi-threaded. These are some of the 5 features of Java, but there are more than 5 features. But in the question they have asked any 5 features of Java. So platform independent is the first, robust, interpreted, multi-threaded and object-oriented. Then what is method overloading? So when a Java program contains more than one method with the same name but different properties, then it is called method overloading. If you feel any question is really important and if you think that this question might be asked, you can take a screenshot of that as well. So I would be telling which one would be important with the help of star. So what restrictions are placed on location of package statement within a source code file? So a package statement must appear as the first line in source code file, eliminating blank spaces and commands. The next question, what method is used to specify container layout? So basically a self layout method is used to specify container layout. What is the immediate superclass of the applet class? The panel class is the immediate superclass of the applet class. What are access modifiers in Java? This is the important question. Take a note of it. Star, 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 star question. So what are access modifiers in Java? So there are basically 3 access modifiers. The first one is public, protected and private. Second one is protected and the third one is private. And the default one, if no identifier is specified, is called friendly, but programmer cannot specify that the friendly identifier explicitly. So what are packages? So a package is nothing but a collection of related classes and interfaces providing access protection and namespace management. So we have to create a package. Inside that package we have class. In any Java you have to first create a project. If you use an Eclipse IDE, you have to create a package or a new Java project where in the package you can create the source, and in the source you have to create classes. Then new classes you can define with the help of the packages that you created before. Moving on to the next, what is meant by inheritance and what are its advantages? So basically inheritance, by the word inheritance you can understand what is inheritance and what it means. So inheritance is a nothing process of inheriting all the features from a class. So in inheritance, a parent class, the child class might inheritance all the features and behaviors of the parent class. So that is called inheritance. This is the parent class, this is the child class. So child class will inherits all the behaviors and properties of parent class. So inheritance is nothing but the process of inheriting all the features from a class. The advantage of inheritance are reusability of code and accessibility of various and methods of superclass by subclass. So you have heard about subclass, superclass, derived class and the base class. So that we use in inheritance. So can we rethrow the same exception from the catch handler? Yes, we can rethrow the same exception from our catch handler. If we want to rethrow, check exception from a catch block, we need to declare the exception. So moving on to the next, with what value is variable of string type automatically initialized? The default value of string type is null. When a thread block an input output, what state does it enters? When it blocks on input output, a thread enters the waiting state. So you should know waiting state, running state, start state. These are the different types of thread states in multi-threading processing. If you have learned IPC, inter-process communication, so in that you have heard about different type of states. So which container uses a flow layout as their default layout? The panel and applet class use flow layout as their default layout. So explain Java coding standards for constants. Constants in Java are created using static and final keyword. These are the two keywords, static and final, which are used for coding. So Java coding standards for constants are static and final. So you can read these as well. So what is synchronization and why it is important? This is the important question. Make a note of this. Take a screenshot of this star 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 question. I will wait for 1 second. You can take a screenshot of this. What is synchronization and why is it important? So yeah, the term synchronization is the ability to control access of multiple threads to the shared resources. If you have learned operating systems, in the operating system, synchronization is the concept you have heard about it. So and so that is synchronization. Synchronization is nothing but ability to control access of multiple threads to shared resources, and it is important because without it, it is not possible for one thread to modify a shared object while another thread in the process of using or updating the object value. Then this often leads to a major errors. So explain Java coding standards for variable. So you can explain the Java coding standards for variable with the help of the answer given. Then what is abstract class? An abstract class is a class designed with implementation gaps for subclass to fill in and deliberately incomplete. So abstract is a keyword, abstract. We use abstract keyword in a Java code, where an abstract class is a class designed with implementation gaps for subclass to fill in and deliberately incomplete. Name three component subclasses that support painting. So Canva, frame, panel, applet class support painting. The next question, what is difference between JDK and JVM? We have discussed it previously. I have told that JDK, JRE and JVM. You should understand the details related to this. You can read this. Then why Java doesn't support multiple inheritance? Because of diamond problem. There is a problem called diamond problem concept where Java doesn't support multiple inheritance in classes. So what modifiers may be used with an inner class that is a member of outer class? So a non-local inner class may be declared as public, protected, private. static, final, or abstract. Which which Java until class and interface support event handling? So the event handling object, so basically the event object class and event listener interface support event processing. The next question, what is transient variable? This is important one, take a note of this. So a transient variable is a variable that may not be serialized. Moving on to the next question, is null a keyword? No, null is not a keyword. What is applet? Applet is a dynamic and interactive program that runs inside a web page displayed by a Java capable browser. So what is life cycle of an applet? So you can check, this is the life cycle of an applet. You can read all the details. What's new with the stop, suspend and resume methods in JDK 1.2? So these methods have been depreciated in JDK 1.2. What is the vector class? The term vector class provides the ability to implement a growable array of objects. Then next, what is difference between this operator and greater than operator? Basically, this operator carries sign bit with shifting right, while this zero fills bits that have been shifted out. What is difference between this and super? So this is a keyword and super is also a keyword. Take a note of this and screenshot of the same. So if you want this PDF completely, comment down hashtag Java. I would be pasting the link. If I get the comments of hashtag Java, I would be definitely pasting the link of this Google Drive PDF, which covers 100 questions important of Java, which are mostly asked. I would be pasting the link of this complete PDF in the description box. Just you need to comment hashtag Java. I would be pasting the complete PDF. So this PDF mainly consists of 100 questions. In that we are now discussing the 34th. What is difference between this and super? This can be used to invoke a constructor of the same class, whereas super can be used to invoke the superclass constructor. What is native method? A native method is a method that is applied in a language other than Java. Then what value does read line return when it has reached the end of file? The read line method returns null when it has reached the end of file. What is the Java API? So the Java API is a large collection of ready-made software components that provide mainly useful capabilities such as graphical user interface. Why there are no global variable in Java? So global variable are global accessible. Java does not support global accessible variable due to the following reasons. The first one is Java variable breaks referential transparency, and the second point is global variable creates collision in namespace. The next question, what are different types of access modifiers? So this is the important question we have discussed previously in the previous page, that there are three types of access modifiers. First one is public, second one is private, and third one is protected. This is the most important question you should understand and take a screenshot or a note of this. What is constructor? This is the most important question which is repeated and asked in every interview. So basically, what is constructor? A constructor is nothing but a special method whose task is to initialize the object of its class. It's special because its name is same as the class name. So there are two things. The first one would be it is a special because it is mainly special because constructor name should be the same name as the class name, and constructor is mainly used to initialize the object of its class. They do not have return type. They cannot be inherited. Constructor is invoked whenever an object of its associated class is created. These are the 4 points you should understand. Understand the basics and the concept. You might be answering your own words as well. So just understand the logic or the main concept behind the constructor. So what is an iterator? An iterator is nothing but an interface used to step through the element of a collection. So iterators let you know the process of each element of a collection. Iterators are a generic way to go through all elements of a collection, no matter defining how it is organized. Iterator is an interface implemented a different way for every collection. What is difference between reader, writer and input stream, output stream? So the reader writer class is a character oriented and input stream output stream class is a byte oriented. So what is servlet? Servlet are nothing but they are modules that extends request response oriented servers such as Java enabled web servers. For example, a servlet might be responsible for taking data in an HTML order entry from and applying business logic used to update a company's order database. So what is clipping? Clipping is the process of confining paint operations to a limited area or shape. What is memory leak? A memory leak is where an unreferenced object that will never be used again still hangs around a memory and doesn't get garbage collected. So the next one is, can a for statement loop indefinitely? So what do you think? Yes, for statement can loop indefinitely. For example, consider the following. You can check. This is the main thing. Then explain Java coding standards for methods. We have discussed this. Then why Java is not a pure object-oriented program? Java supports primitive types such as int, byte, short, long, etc. That is the main reason that why it is not said sometimes a pure object-oriented language. But there is a misconceptions behind many programmers that someone says it's purely object-oriented, while some says due to these primitive data types they are not object-oriented. So still the discussion is going on. So research about this. What are access modifiers? We have discussed this. Can we overload the main method? Yes, we can overload the main method with syntax as public static void main string args. This is the main syntax. Make a note of this. What is method in Java? So it contains, you can read all this. Why we use method, where we use method, what is the main use of the method in Java. Then explain about automatic type conversion in Java. You can explain the given answer. What about automatic type in Java? Then what is difference between prefix and postfix from of the plus plus operator? This stands for increment operator. So the prefix form performs the increment operation and returns the value of the increment operation, while the postfix form returns the current value of all the expression and then performs the increment operation of that value. Moving on to the 54th question, in how many ways we can do exception handling in Java? So basically we can handle exception in either two ways. These are the two ways. The first one would be by specifying a try catch block where we can catch the expression, the exception. Then the second one would be declaring a method with throw clause. Then the third 55th question is, what does null mean in Java? So basically when a reference variable doesn't point to any value in its assigned null, so that is assigned basically none. When a reference variable doesn't point to any value, then it is assigned null. Can we define a package statement after import statement in Java? No, we can't define a package statement after import statement in Java. A package statement must be first statement in the source file. We can have commented before the package statement. Define how many objects are created in the following piece of code. So you can think of this question once again. You can think how many objects are created in the following piece of code. So the answer to the question is only two objects are created, C1 and C3. The reference C2 is only declared as not initialized. So C1 and C3 are the only objects created. So basically two objects are created and C2 is the one which is not initialized. So only two objects are created. So what is GSP? GSP is a technology that returns dynamic content to the web client using HTML, XML and Java. You can read about GSP in more. What is purpose of Apache Tomcat? You can read this. Then explain where variable are created in memory. When we declare variables are created in the stack. So when the variable is out of scope, those variables get garbage collected. The next question, can we use catch statement for checked expectations? You can read. Explain a situation where finally block will not be executed. So finally the block will not executed whenever JVM shutdowns. If we use syntax exit 0 in try statement, final block if present will not be executed. What is Unicode? Unicode is nothing but it is used for internal representation of characters and string, and it uses 16-bit to represent each other. Explain about main method in Java. So main is the entry point you should understand while writing the code. So in Java, the main method is starting point of the execution for all Java application. So we usually write the syntax public static void main string args. Then we write the main method where we call a function of the main method from another class so that the execution of the program can be done. So string args are an array of a string object we need to pass from command line arguments, while every Java application must have at least one main method. So this is important, take a note of this, that every Java application must have at least one main method. The next question, define how destructors are defined in Java. Basically in Java there are no destructors defined in class, as there are no need to do so. Java has its own garbage collection mechanism which does the job automatically by destroying the object when no longer referenced. Then what will be the output of round 3.7 and seal 3.7? You can check the answer. Then what are constructors in Java? We have discussed this previously. Then how can we find the actual size of an object on the heap? So basically in Java there are no ways to find out the actual size of an object on the heap. Can a variable be local and static at the same time? No, a variable can't be static as well as local at the same time. Defining a local variable as static gives compilation error. Then the next one, can we have a static method in an interface? So the answer to the question is static method can't be overridden in any class, while any method in an interface are by default abstract and are supposed to be implemented in class being implementing the interface. So it makes no sense to have static method in interface in Java. The next question, in how many ways we can do synchronization in Java? So there are basically two ways. First one would be synchronized method, second is synchronized block. To do synchronization we use synchronized keyword. And the next, when do we use synchronized block? An advantage of using synchronized block, you can read this. And the next question, what is the difference between access specifier and access modifier in Java? We have discussed this previously. Then define how objects are stored in Java. So basically in Java, each object when created gets a memory space from a heap. When an object is destroyed by a garbage collector, the space allocated to it from the heap is reallocated to the heap and becomes available for any new objects. The 75th question is, what access modifiers can be used for a class? So you can read the detail of the question and the answer given below. Then explain about abstract class in Java. I have told that abstract class, abstract is a keyword where all the information related to abstract class is given below. Then can we create a constructor in an abstract class? We can create a constructor in an abstract class. It doesn't give any compilation error, but when we cannot instantiate class, there is no use in creating a constructor for abstract class. So this is important, make a note of this or take a screenshot. String and string buffer both represent string object. Can we compare string and string buffer in Java? The answer to the question is, although string and string buffer both represent string object, we can't compare them with each other, and we try to compare them, we will get an error. The next question is, in how many ways we can create threads in Java? So basically we have two ways to create a threads in Java. The first one would be by extending thread class, and the second one is by implementing a runnable interface. Explain creating threads by implementing runnable class. So you can explain the answer given below. Moving on to the next one, 81st question, when do we use synchronized method in Java? So in multiple threads, try to access method where the method can manipulate the state of object. In such scenarios, we can declare a method as synchronized. Then next one, can we cast any other type of boolean type with typecasting? The answer to the question is no, we cannot or can neither cast any other primitive type of boolean data type, nor we can cast boolean data type any other primitive data type. So what are synchronized methods and synchronized statements? You can read the answer given below. Then explain the importance of finally block. This is the important one. Take a screenshot of this as well. Then next, can we catch more than one exception in single catch block? You can read this as well. What are abstract methods in Java? We have discussed it previously. What is abstract class? So an abstract method is a method which doesn't have any body. An abstract method is declared with keyword abstract and semicolon in a place in the method body. So the example is given below, you can check that as well. Then state some situation where exceptions may arise in Java. You can check the situations where exceptions may arise when you access an element that does not exist in array, while second one would be invalid conversion of a number to string or string to number, and the third one is the invalid casting of class. Fourth one would be trying to create an object for interface or abstract class. Next question is, what is an exception in Java? You can read, in Java an exception is an object. Exceptions are created when abnormal situations arise in our program. Exceptions can be created by JVM or by our application code. All exception classes are defined in Java language. In other words, we can say exception as a runtime error. Then next question, what is an error in Java? You can read the answer given below. Then what are advantages of exception handling in Java? You can describe in your own words. There are many advantages of using exception handling in Java. Then what is difference between constructors and other methods? Constructor must have the same name as the class and cannot return any value, while they are only called while regular methods could be called many times. Then the next question, is there any limitation of using inheritance? Yes, since inheritance inherits main everything from superclass and interface, it may make subclass too clustering and sometimes error prone when dynamic overriding or dynamic overloading is some situation. So the next question, where and how can we use private constructor? So private constructor is mainly used if you do not want other class to instantiate the object and to prevent subclassing. So this one was the 93 question. So we would be discussing more questions in the next part. So yeah, this video was related to 100 questions related to Java. We would be discussing top still more 10 questions in the next video. So stay tuned till the end, and if you face any difficulties or queries, comment. I will be definitely facing and replying to each query. Apart from this, if you have any questions, you can comment. So if you want this PDF of consisting 100 questions, hashtag write the comment hashtag Java. I would be pasting the link in the description so that you can click on that link. With the help of that Google Drive link, you would be access and download the complete PDF with the help of that link. So stay tuned and all